Hey guys, Total Control 871. Welcome back to the Band News channel. I have absolutely no idea if this video will make it or not. Um, as I had been saying in prior videos, that of course got deleted. The deep state is now just full-blown hair trigger. Uh, they're just deleting videos left and right as we're zeroing in on the election. Anything that even remotely resembles that it's speaking out against the fake pandemic. So tonight, um, I wanted to tell you about a particular story that happened to me. The way the direction of the channels are going to be going is it's going to be very IKEA furniture-ish like. Obviously, if I fully construct the narrative, it will be deleted. Hell, I don't even know. Even if I lay the pieces at your feet, some assembly required, and the video might still get deleted there. So all I can really do is lay the pieces at your feet, and hopefully you'll be able to piece it together for yourself. Um, Tonight I want to talk about why I fight, fight against evil, fight against the deep state. As some of you know, I wasn't always political. Um, I'll see if I can find a suitable picture of the school, West Side Complex. I think they renamed it whenever, Martin Luther King. He has a lot of schools named after him. um, and that's not a criticism against Martin Luther King Jr., but we do have other icons. It might be nice to let's show a little imagination, shall we? Anyway, so let's see. Maybe I'll take a moment here. So one day, many, many, many years ago, me and my buddy Seamus, Seamus, he's a character. We were a couple of oddballs. We met in the fourth grade at West Side Complex. I still call it West Side Complex. um, Although now that I think about it, that's a creepy kind of a name too when you think about it. I guess the place did need to get renamed. West Side Complex. Ooh, that sounds so sterile or whatever. Anyway, so me and my buddy Seamus were walking along. It wasn't unheard of for us to go and play in the school's playground, when school wasn't in session. Uh, this may have been a weekend, or it may have been after school, but I'm thinking it was a weekend, maybe. So we're walking along, and we're about maybe 12, 13 years old. I don't know what 12 and 13-year-old boys are doing these days in terms of on the floor toys. I guess they don't really do that at that age, or I don't really know if they did it in my day at that age. Like I say, me and my buddy Seamus, we were a couple we were a couple of oddballs, and well, hell, I played with my toys out in the open until the ripe old age of 16, 17, somewhere between 16 and 17. Yeah, I think it was, yeah, I got my first job. That's when I didn't have time for playing with toys anymore. Anyway, so Seamus and I think we had maybe a couple of Transformers we were playing with, and Very strange. Basically, it was like out of nowhere. About four older boys approached us. And they looked like they may have been high school age, maybe. And there were four of them. And they separated us. They I've dealt with bullies my entire life. I'm trying to really tell this story to you in a context in which you can understand because I want you to know why I fight. Schoolyard bullies are nothing new, you know. I'm not a terribly aggressive person. Most of them got the better of me. But this particular incident, it was extremely strange and very bizarre. They separated Seamus and I think they threw our toys down on the floor, on the ground, and made us like get down on the ground to pick them up. And while I was down there, they wouldn't let me get up, and they started saying very, very strange things like uh, something about say you hate your mother. I told you it was strange. Uh, I think they may have asked me about my father, but it's like basically they wanted me to curse my parents. They didn't ask us for any money. We didn't really have any to give them anyway. I think they maybe took a momentary interest in the toys, but I think that's when they threw it to the ground to make us pick them up. And then it went from strange to very bizarre. They wanted me to basically curse my parents, kind of like it says in the Ten Commandments. You know, it, it sounds crazy and weird. These boys were about maybe, I don't know, 15 years old each. And what 15-year-old goes around trying to make other people break the Ten Commandments or what he wanted us to do? It was just very odd and very strange. It had none of the type of context that normally goes along with a schoolyard bully. And again, I just began thinking about how they just appeared out of nowhere, all four of them. You didn't hear them approach, you didn't see them approach. It was just like you turned around and they were suddenly there. Um, and they wanted us to talk about how we hated our parents and that we, you know, wanted our to say that we wished our parents were dead. And then it got very eerie. We're talking Revelations 13 type shit. And again, these were about 14-year-old, 14, 15-year-old boys. They started saying, renounce God. Who says this? They started telling us, renounce God, say you hate God, say you hate God and go to hell. And they said that if we didn't, that they would more or less something about beat the shit out of us. At that point, I just basically balled up into a fetal position and prepared, well, like I said at the hospital, brace for impact. What 15-year-old boys go around with such strangely specific questions? They didn't steal our toys. They didn't ask us for money. They just wanted us to curse our parents and renounce the God of our understanding. As I was balled up in the fetal position, braced for impact, I suddenly realized I didn't hear them talking to each other anymore. And I peeked out from under my fist, and they were gone. All four had disappeared as quickly as they had appeared. You didn't hear their sneakers turn or squelch on the concrete. You didn't hear them run away. You didn't hear them breathing heavy as they ran away. You didn't hear them when they arrived, and you didn't hear them when they left. Now, I don't want to sit here and go too mystical, metaphysical on you, but it was just strange. And they never did hit me. They just threw my toy on the ground. They never did actually hit me. I comb over the memories of my mind and the memories of my life. And I really hope this doesn't come off megalomaniac. It's like because I can't even quote you the Bible in verse, but something about touch not my anointed, and believe me, I do not think I'm anointed at all, okay? I'm just a regular guy. I'm flawed. My back's against the wall, and I don't got any food. Before I was, set up and stable the way I am now, when I didn't have any food, I did things that I wasn't proud of to put food on the table. Um, there's nothing holy, special, righteous. I curse, I swear. When I get lonely, I watch pornography. There is absolutely nothing terribly special about me. I do not perceive myself to be anointed or anything like that. But for some strange reason, with everything that's been going on with this fake pandemic, it's like that scripture just bloop, like a bubble underwater. It just bubbled to the top. It just bubbled to the top of my head. Very strange. I mean, dude, like I told you, some of my old boyhood, I would not call these particular guys chums, like Daniel Cornelius. Oh man, what a rap sheet. Sean Gooding, what a rap sheet, These were guys that were just simply bad apples, rotten to the core. Um, you get into fights with them, most likely, and ended up losing. But this was an incident with these four boys that they didn't even hit me. And my buddy Seamus, I think he said something about they just wanted him to say certain things because they took him out of earshot, and I think even out of eyeshot, like around the corner. It was weird that they separated us, and anyway, like I said, they just very mysteriously vanished, almost as if into thin air. Um, I am not ready to say that that was the great testing of the metal, as spoken about uh, in Revelations, and I think also in Matthew and a few other books. The end times are indeed referenced, and they speak about, will you stand or will you fall? Will you stand for Christ Jesus? Now, granted, that does not in any shape, form, fashion put me in the same league as Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego about to be thrown into a frickin' furnace. That's some diabolical shit. Or, John the Baptist who was beheaded. I do not put myself in league with any of those people. I was just a 12-year-old boy who just wanted to play with his Transformer toys in the school playground. And for whatever reasons, I was descended upon and told to renounce God or get the shit kicked out of me. Very, very strange. About 5 years later, I told you guys something about this, and it's why I said I didn't, back then in that video, I didn't want to get too deep into it. In the shelter, after, when I was in the boys' home in Detroit, how something came to me and told me, because I had my first job, McDonald's, and believe me, the paycheck was not big at all. Matter of fact, I think it was just enough money to buy a one-way bus ticket from Detroit, Michigan to New Jersey. And I really had no real plan of action, and that's what I did. And of course, when I ended up coming back to Michigan, I learned that somebody had shot up the group home, and one of the bullets went through my bedroom. Would I have been there at that particular moment in time? Who's to say? I don't know. But something called me out onto the lawn, um, the benches of the group home. Something called me. It gets very difficult to explain what I'm talking about. It wasn't words. It wasn't like I can't even say that it was like a telepathic communication. It was like remembering a conversation, but a conversation that I never had. It's like I would have to access my memories to hear what the force, whatever you want to call it, was trying to say to me. But it's like I'm listening into the past to hear what it wants to tell me in the present. Anyway, it was just simply communicated to me out on that lawn that I have been watched. I am being watched. How do I say this? It's like the force understood that I understood it, and that I was willing to do what it told me. It told me to take something like, was it even $200? It wasn't a big paycheck. To take a paycheck and just disappear. And then when it told me that it's safe to come back, come back. And of course, years ago when I was 12 years old, I was ready to, get the shit kicked out of me just because some weird pack of boys wanted me to renounce God. Whatever this thing was, it was trying to communicate to me that, see, I'm trying not to use the word impressed, count on me. None of that seems right. I don't think that, I don't think it was impressed or could count on, especially when you listen to you see, when you fight evil, it's not like on TV. Mrs. Watson told Meg that there was no guarantee that they'd be able to get her father back. And they very well indeed might end up losing the children in the process, in the attempt. Because that's what happens in real life when you're dealing with malevolent entities like evil. It doesn't always have a happy ending. So it's not like something said that it could count on me, because it fully understands that I am flesh and blood human, very, very fallible. Very fallible. A crapshoot. You take your chances when you deal with a human, me included. So I guess that's what I wanted to talk about tonight. It's why I fight. I understand that there are dark forces who are trying very hard to keep a lot of people silent. It's not just me. Okay, so I think that's it. I think I'll be able to upload this. I think Band News is the only one that isn't on suspension at the moment. I think Strontium will be off suspension in a couple of days. Cesium has just been suspended for 2 more weeks for fair and accurate coverage. NBC, allegedly, it's, you never really know who you're dealing with. Is it YouTube or is it NBC? And they took issue with the news coverage that I did, the video where I showed nightly news talking about getting ready to crack down on a Hasidic ultra-Orthodox Jewish community, and me, of all people, advocated for them to have their freedom. And to show contrast to the hypocrisy, I suddenly cut to footage of Saturday Night Live, NBC. They had their brand new in-person live audience. Apparently, you can go to 30 Rock Center for kicks and giggles in their studio, but you cannot worship the God of your understanding. You can you can be entertained and razzle dazzled by comedians and probably other live studio audience. Talk shows are going to follow suit very soon, most likely. You can do that, but you cannot send your child to school to get a quality education. If you haven't been paying attention, Como's, one of his last press conferences, redistricting, redistricting, so to speak, with zip codes, declaring certain zip codes hotspots. Mark my words, it's just going to be a coincidence that affluent communities are going to be declared low risk and their children can go to school at their expensive academies and get a quality education, while your low income children will be deemed not good enough and not worth the time or effort to send to school. And let's just give them a notepad, a laptop, something to keep them busy that passes for education. And, no child left behind. We'll just rubber stamp them into their diploma, send them out into the world where they can work and be my minion. Yes, people. I didn't want to get into the trajectory tonight or where it's all going. But yes, your precious liberal elite, the very same people who you think are on your side, my dear black community, the people who you think are on your side are in fact, I'm Miss Millie. Your children are so clean. You want to work for me? Be my maid. I mean, after the piss poor education that you get, isn't that pretty much all you're really worth? Isn't that all you can really do? Is remedial task? So we see our liberal elite are cultivating their proletariat to be their schlep hounds. That's you. Okay, just something to think about. Oh, yeah, Black Lives Matter, Antifa. I hope you're enjoying your last month of freedom, okay? Because I know you think your precious deep state has your back and are really spinning the corporate media narrative in your favor. Things are about to change very drastically in the next month. If they succeed in putting Biden in office, you can kiss your freedom goodbye. You won't be storming the streets anymore. You're going to be like the blacks who sold other blacks into slavery, okay, and thought they'd be hitching a ride to the new world. Those are those other blacks. They're down in storage. Me, I worked with the white man to sell them. I get to stay above deck. I even got my own musket. Okay. And as our ship sails far enough out to sea where you don't see the shoreline anymore, then all of a sudden somebody comes up to you, snatches your musket, your gun that you were so proud of, strips you naked, slaps you in shackles, and puts you down in the cargo hold. You're not getting paid. You were a fool to work with the enemy. By the time you realize what was happening, it's too late. You've been warned. Total Control 871.